Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here. We thank God for another day that the Lord have made. Right. Listen, today we are going to talk about leadership styles in a project environment. I just prepared this slide. It's a very lovely slide, right? Remember yesterday we had there was no slide. We were using the book. Okay. So I felt that I felt it's very good for me to prepare a slide for you. I'm going to send you this slide, right? In addition to the YouTube video, right? Because this aspect is very important. It comes out every year in the exam. So we need to really understand it very well, right? Besides you learning it to pass your exam is going to help you in your personal projects, right? Yeah. So these are the leadership styles that we're going to discuss about as far as project management is concerned, right? So the type of leadership style that one really need to employ or utilize in a project environment, it depends on one, the situation of the project, right? There are certain projects that needs urgent attention, emergency project, right? The type of leadership style you as a project manager that you're gonna employ there will be different from a project that is normal, right? It as well depends on the type of people you are dealing with, their experience, right? For example, if you are dealing with people that are experienced, I mean the team members now, you can allow them to make their decision. You can delegate authorities and responsibility to them. You can give them that free will. We call it laissez-passer or laissez-faire, not laissez-passer, laissez-faire, right? For them to be able to make their decisions and take actions, right? So invariably, what I'm trying to say is the type of leadership style that you need to employ depends on the situation, depends on the experience of the project, right? And it still depends on the circumstance. For example, you have directing style. I'm going to unpack what these various styles, leadership style means, right? You got the coaching style, you got the supporting style, you got the delegating style, right? So, right. In terms of the directing style, right? When you are employing this type of style, right? This type of leadership style, you need to monitor them closely, right? You monitor them closely, you tell them what to do, when to do it, right? How to do it, and when to complete the work. You have to supervise them closely. You have to communicate to them clearly what needs to be done. Do you understand what I mean? Then when you employ this coaching, you need to guide them. You need to teach them in terms of what to do. Do you understand what I mean? You need to motivate them, right? When you are using the coaching, supporting, right? In when you are employing supporting staff, you allowing them to make decision with you, right? But you must make sure that you focus on building the team spirit. You must make sure that you motivate them in areas where you need to motivate them, where you need to boost their morale. You know, that is what happens here, right? For example, when you are employing this delegating style, delegation means assigning tasks and responsibilities to the team members. So when you are using this, or let me put it this way, on what circumstance can you employ delegating style, right? When you discover that they got the experience, right? You cannot assign task and responsibility to people to do on your behalf, to take decision on your behalf, if you know that they don't know what they are doing. So they must be well experienced team members before you can be able to employ successfully this type of leadership style, right? Okay. Don't worry about the movement in the slide. Right. Now, like I said before, right, in form of introduction, leadership style helps project managers to guide team members effectively. Individual, understands it with, yeah, it helps to guide, right, the team members effectively. Because in the project environment, there must be a leader, right? If there is no leader to lead, to support, to coach, to delegate, at the end of the day, the project is likely to be compromised. Then we say different styles are used depending on the project need, like I explained to you already, right? Depends on the needs of the project, depends on the deadline. If it's something that needs to be done urgently, right? You need to look for the most suitable leadership style to deploy, and the team experience, like I explained to you, right? If the teams are well experienced, then you can use the delegating style, whereby you assign task and responsibility, or rather task and responsibilities and authority, right? Because before somebody can assign authority to you, assign responsibility to you, that person must be well convinced that you are experienced. Do you understand what I mean? I cannot tell Marcus, right, to be teaching a course here or a subject which I know that he doesn't understand, right? If I feel that he knows the subject very well, he knows the content, he knows everything very well, I can delegate authority and responsibility to him that whenever I'm not here, you can take over, you teach them, right? You can lecture in my class. You can lecture the class as the case may be. You're right. Based on the fact that I've known his capability that he can deliver. So that is what we are trying to say. Then effective leaders adapt their leadership style to the situation. So the type of leadership style you need to deploy should be contextual, right? Contextual, align it with realities, with the situation. That is what we are trying to say. So in terms of the type of leadership style, given the directive leadership style, what does it involve? One, leader gives clear instruction and then closely supervises the work. Like I said, you are free to deploy this type of leadership style when you know that the team members, they don't have much of experience, right? They are not well experienced in doing the job. So for you to be able to coordinate and to make sure that the job is being done there, do what they're supposed to do, you need to give them clear instructions and then closely supervise them. As I said before, it's good for inexperienced team or urgent project. So this type of leadership style require a high level of control and supervision. Right. So that is that. Then examples, these things are going to help you. Right. I went as far as going deeper beyond what you have in your textbook to assist you. So you could have a local example like this, directing local examples and application, right? RODP housing, right? Okay, RODP housing construction project in Cape Town. So managers, for example, give strict safety and work instruction, right? Then like as we said, it's useful in emergency, right? An emergency repair, for example, if you have a project like a disaster. So you need to make sure that you tell them exactly what to do, precautions to take in terms of safety and all those kind of stuff, right? So this one is for your own consumption. Then the coaching, that is another leadership style. So this one is quite different from directing in the sense that you, as the project manager, you need to guide them, you need to capacitate them, you need to skill them, you need to inculcate in them confidence, right? That they need for them to be able to do the project. As we have it here, the project leader guides, trains, and motivates employees, right? It could also focuses on skill development and learning, right? During the process of you coaching, mentoring, guiding, training, you can as well help them to develop their skill. So this type of leadership is useful when introducing new system or new technologies, right? Then an example for your own consumption as well, for you to understand it very well. I'm giving an example of like for the ESCOM renewable energy training project, whereby senior manager need to mentor trainees, graduates. Of course, we have this kind of project in reality. So it's useful in education, IT, and youth development project. Then the supporting, hello, focus, supporting style of leadership. This thing is gonna come out in your exam. You must take it serious, right? From experience, it comes out every time. Then the other type of leadership we can talk about is supporting style, right? This one leaders encourages team work and participation. You support, you boost their morale, right? So you focuses on motivation and communication. Sometimes they can get demoralized. You need to support them. You need to boost them. You need to anchor, right, their morale so that they will be interested in doing what they are supposed to do. So another distinguishing feature of supporting leadership that I want you to take note of is this: share decision making with team members. You share your decision making with them, right? Because it's not something unlike the first one we talk about, right? Directing. Directing, you make decision, you give them directives in terms of, you give them order, right? What to do, when to do it, when to complete the job, and how to do it. But in this case, is this what we call participatory, collaborative endeavor, collaborative initiative. You must make sure that you share your decision making with them. In that case, you are capacitating them, you are building their confidence, right? So that is how it goes. Then, for example, you have community youth skill project in Kailisha. Of course, there's a project of this nature whereby the leaders motivate volunteers and listen to team members. So it can be useful in NGOs, educations, and the community project. So yeah, delegating, this is the last part, right? Delegation means it's a process whereby you assign responsibilities and authority to team members to execute. Like I said, before you can be confident in deploying this delegation leadership style, you must be confident that the team members, they are experienced, they know what they do, they know what they're supposed to do, right? So by virtue of that, you can deploy this delegation leadership style. So we say leaders give responsibility to experienced team members. So employees, they work independently because they are experienced, right? Based on the fact that they are experienced, they can work independently on their own without much strict supervision. Then we say it's based on trust and employee competence. Like we said, they are well experienced, right? Then they are competent, then you can be able to. Then examples, delegating local, these are some of the examples: software development program, then research project, IT, and marketing. Then the advantages, guys, listen is very important, right? You can go, right? These are the advantages. Directing, this thing is very important, focus on it. In terms of directing, right? Fast decision making, because you are the project leader that is making the decision. You don't wait for anybody. But limit creativity. How does it limit creativity? Because you don't allow them to participate in the decision. Right. Then, in terms of coaching, it helps to build the skills, but it takes time because you need to guide them, you need to teach them, you need to train them, which is time consuming. Then, supporting, it helps to improve teamwork, but decision may be slow because you shared your decision making with them. Then, delegating encourage independence because they can work on their own. So, these are the comparison, right? Directing has supervision. Guys, take note of this, right? Very, very important. Once it comes out in the exam, they ask you to distinguish between the various the leadership style. So if you are able to capture this in your brain, you will not forget. You can be able to write something to say the least. Then coaching, training and guidance, supporting motivation and teamwork, delegating, promote independence and trust. So, to conclude, we say project manager must adapt leadership style to different situations or to different contexts, contextually. Then, effective leadership, as you do know, improve teamwork and productivity. Then, flexibility is also important as well for once to be able to ensure that the job is done and the objectives of the project are achieved. Right. Okay, guys. So far, so good. We've done justice to it. So, what I'm going to do, I will upload it for you. Right. Yeah. And send you this right. All right. Thanks.